All right, let's dive in. Today, we're exploring this really cool YouTube video by RJ Spina, a spiritual teacher. He talks about desire and intention and flow states, and I think it's going to be really insightful.
Yeah. This guy, RJ Spina, is all about helping us live, like a deeper life, really. Like he talks a lot about the difference between desires that come from like your true self and those that come from like this programmed mind.
Yeah, programmed mind. That's interesting. So is he talking about all that external stuff that shapes us, like, what we think we should want because of society or family or, even advertising?
Exactly. It's almost like we're running on this mental software,
Mm.
that we didn't actually like design ourselves. And RJ Spina thinks that listening to that programmed mind, well, it can lead us to desires that are like fragmented and just, not really authentic to us.
Yeah, and then we end up chasing these things that, well, they don't really fulfill us, right? I mean, it's almost like we're using someone else's treasure map instead of following our own internal compass.
Oh, I like that. It's a great analogy. RJ Spina uses a really cool image to describe how our true desires actually flow. He
Yeah.
talks about a slinky going down the stairs.
That's Linky, huh?
Yeah, that smooth movement, like effortless. He says it's like that when a desire originates from your core self. Just moves smoothly through thoughts, emotions, actions, even behaviors.
Everything just clicks into place, huh? It's like being in the groove completely. This whole slinky analogy actually makes me think of something that, well, a lot of people struggle with. Like, should we be focusing on one big overarching desire, or is it okay to, have multiple things we're passionate about?
That is such a good question. And a lot of people, really get stuck on that one. R.J. Spina says that our ego mind, because it's like fragmented, it creates all these multiple desires.
Yeah.
And they could be like totally conflicting.
So it's almost like we're trying to juggle way too many things at once.
Exactly. Something's bound to drop.
So are you saying that the more scattered our desires are, the more likely it is they're coming from, that programmed mind instead of our true self?
That's a really great way to put it. Now think about those desires that are born from the true self. They tend to have this clarity and simplicity to them,
Okay.
right? And they're all about joy and passion.
So if we're feeling pulled in a million directions, maybe that's a sign we need to, like reconnect with our core, figure out what really brings us joy. I think we should unpack this whole idea of the true self a little more for our listener.
Definitely. Okay, so imagine like you're an actor and you're playing, all these different roles in your life, your work role, family role, friend role. Well, the true self is like, the actor behind all those masks. It's the essence of who you are, beneath all the labels and
Yeah,
stuff.
like the director, right? Like behind the scenes, calling all the shots.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. And RJ Spina believes that, we need to access that true self to experience real joy,
Yeah.
like genuine fulfillment, not just in the future, but right now, in the present moment.
Not just delaying gratification, right? Like finding the joy in the pursuit itself.
Right. It's about being connected to the passion that fuels our actions, that deep sense of purpose that's leading us to our goals.
And wouldn't you say that, that's what the flow state is all about? That feeling when you're just, completely absorbed in something and time just seems to disappear.
Totally. That's how RJ Spina sees it too, like a manifestation of this alignment with the true self. It's almost like the actor and the director like merge together. The ego mind fades away and you're just, present.
He even talks about losing yourself in an activity, which, sounds kind of paradoxical.
Yeah, but what he's saying is we're not actually losing ourselves,
Yeah.
right? It's more like we're shedding those layers of the false self, the ego, and then our true essence can shine through. And you know what? He actually tells us to like actively seek out those activities that trigger the flow state.
So don't just wait for it to happen, right? Like go out and make it happen. That's interesting.
Yeah, it's like we all have this mission, right, to like unlock our full potential. And finding that flow state, well, that's like the key to, cracking the code.
Okay, I'm with you. But how do we even find those activities that, get us into that flow state? I mean, it's easier said than done, right?
You're right. He doesn't exactly give us like a step-by-step guide or anything. But he does talk about paying attention to those moments when you just completely lose track of time. Like you're so into something that everything else just fades away.
So it's about noticing when we're really engaged, like effortlessly. Those things that feel more like play than work, right?
Exactly. Think about your own life.
Yeah.
What have you done that makes you feel that way? Is it painting, writing, playing music, or maybe
Yeah.
even just like a really good conversation?
Hmm. You know, I'd have to say for me, it's definitely playing music. When I'm jamming with my band, I completely lose myself in it. The rhythm, the melodies, I mean, it just disappears.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
And the cool thing is those flow activities, they're like totally unique to each person. What gets one person in the flow might, totally bore someone else.
Right, right.
You
It's
know?
like we all have our own flow fingerprint or something. And you know what? RJ Spina says that those activities, they're not just like random hobbies. He thinks they're pathways to, really connecting with our true selves.
Yeah, like they're signposts or something, pointing us towards, those things we're truly passionate about,
Yeah.
our natural talents and all that. And what's really interesting is that well, RJ Spina doesn't shy away from challenges. In fact, he kind of embraces them.
Wait, hold on. Embrace challenges. I thought like the whole point of flow was that it was supposed to be effortless, enjoyable. How can you have both? That sounds like a paradox.
I know, right? It seems counterintuitive, but he actually says that the challenge can actually help us get into that flow state. Think about it. When we're faced with something challenging, something that, pushes us outside our comfort zone, well, we have to like really focus, right? We have to use all of our creativity.
So it's like those challenges force us to like really tap into our potential, right? The stuff we didn't even know we had in us.
Yes, exactly. They shake things up, they make us think
Oh.
and act in new ways. And when we do that, well, sometimes we find ourselves in that flow state.
Okay, I see what you're saying. But isn't there's like a danger that the challenge will just, become too much and then we end up feeling frustrated or even defeated?
Oh yeah, for sure. That's a valid point. And that's why, RJ Spina emphasizes choosing challenges that really align with our true selves. The ones that really speak to us, the ones that call in our unique talents and passions. If a challenge feels like a chore, it's probably not going to lead you to flow.
So it's about choosing our challenges carefully.
Right.
The ones that are actually like worth our energy and effort.
Yes. And that highlights how important self-awareness is.
Hmm?
We need to really know ourselves, like our strengths, our weaknesses, even our values,
Yeah.
to be able to pick the right challenges, the ones that will really help us grow.
It's like putting a puzzle together. You wouldn't try to force a piece where it doesn't fit right. You got to find the right spot.
That's such a great analogy. And it's the same with challenges. Finding that right fit, that's the key to really feeling fulfilled.
And isn't that what this is all about?
Yeah.
Finding those things, the activities, the challenges, the people that help us align with our true selves. And then, we can tap into that flow state and just thrive.
Totally. It's about being the best versions of ourselves, and not by forcing it, but by choosing those challenges that help us grow, the
Yeah.
things that bring us pure joy.
So RJ Spina is basically telling us to like approach life as an adventure, right?
Mm,
Be curious and see challenges as opportunities to to grow. And every moment is a chance to connect with our true selves.
absolutely. And the really cool thing is that this isn't just about achieving things in the outside world. It's also about like cultivating that inner fulfillment, that joy that comes from really aligning with who you are.
It's like we're all on a quest to discover our own brilliance. And the flow state, well, that's the treasure we find along the way. All right, we're back for the final part of our deep dive into RJ Spina's ideas. It's like we've been on this journey exploring desire, flow, and the true self. It's been quite a ride.
It really has. And one thing that RJ Spina keeps coming back to is this concept of the I am, that idea of the true self. It's
Yeah.
like he's saying, if we can connect with that core essence of who we are, well, then we can unlock this whole other level of living, a life full of purpose, joy, and effortless creation.
It's like we've been wearing all these different costumes, right?
Yeah.
Playing these roles in the big play of life. And RJ Spina's like, hey, step off the stage for a minute. Take off the mask. Remember who you really are under there.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it. He believes that the flow state is like a direct experience of this I am.
Right.
It's when that inner critic, that voice of doubt, quiets down, and we become this clear channel for creativity and expression.
It's those moments when you're so absorbed in something that you like lose all track of time. Your sense of self just kind of fades away and you just become one with whatever you're doing.
Exactly. And RJ Spina suggests that we can cultivate this flow state by, by aligning our actions with our true desires, the ones that come from that deep knowing inside of us.
Okay, so how do we actually do that? I mean, how do we know which desires are coming from our true selves and which ones are, just coming from that programmed mind we were talking about? The ones we picked up from, our families or society?
Well, he says that true desires, they tend to bring us joy,
Mm.
and not just when we achieve the thing, but like right now,
Yeah.
you know, in the present moment,
Okay.
like in the actual pursuit of the thing.
So it's like you're getting a taste of the reward as you go, right? Just
Yeah.
by being on the journey.
Yes. And he contrasts this with the programmed mind. It always wants to chase those future outcomes. And that usually just leads to feeling like dissatisfied right now.
Hmm.
It's that whole I'll be happy when trap.
Oh yeah, we all know that one. So are you saying that if we're feeling stressed or anxious or just, not fulfilled as we're going after our goals, that could be a sign that maybe we're not actually aligned with our true selves?
That's a really good point. It's like our emotions are giving us clues.
Yeah.
They're telling us if we're on the right track or not.
So if we're feeling excited and, full of joy, that's a good sign. But if we're feeling like resistance or dread, maybe it's time to step back and really ask ourselves, why am I doing this?
Yeah. Like, are you pursuing this goal because it really matters to you deep down? Or are you just doing it because you feel like you should?
This is all making so much sense. It's like we have this internal compass, right? That's always pointing us towards, that life that's truly meant for us. But then we get distracted by all the noise out there, all the shoulds and the shouldn'ts, and we lose sight of that inner guidance system.
RJ Spina's message is so powerful because it reminds us to tune back into that inner voice,
Hmm.
you know, trust our intuition and make choices that are true to who we are at our core.
And don't forget, he says that flow state, that feeling of effortlessness and creation and joy. Well, it's not just, a random thing that happens to us. We can actually cultivate it by aligning with our true selves,
Hmm.
embracing those challenges that help us grow and spending our time doing things that light us up.
He even says to go out and like intentionally seek out the things that trigger the flow state. It's like we can create the conditions for magic to happen.
So instead of waiting for inspiration to strike us out of the blue, we can actively go after it, right? Seek out those experiences that, align with our passions and challenge us to grow.
And when we do that, we're not just creating cool stuff in the world,
Mm.
but we're also like shaping our inner world, you
Yeah.
know, aligning more and more with who we truly are.
It's like we become the masterpiece, not just the artist. Wow.
That's beautiful. And it reminds us that this journey of self-discovery, well, it's ongoing, right? We're always like unfolding and discovering more of our true potential.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, I want to leave our listener with a question. What's one thing, just one thing, that you can bring into your life, your daily routine, that brings you into that flow state?
Yeah.
That state of pure creation and joy, that thing that makes you lose track of time and feel fully alive.
That's a great question to think about. And remember, there's no right or wrong answer here. Just experiment, play around, listen to your gut, and discover what makes what makes your soul sing.
Keep exploring, keep creating, and keep diving deep. Until next time.